Hello everyone, Skippy here, and welcome to One Piece episode 1066. Directed by Henry Thurlow and supervised by Masahiro Kitazaki. After being absent for quite some time because of this offering, it's time to see what one of the anime's own Henry Thurlow brings to the table for not only his directorial debut on the series, but the directorial debut for a foreign, non-Japanese director on the series as a whole, adapting the big battle of Law and Kid versus Big Mom that precedes her defeat. With a lot of action to dig into and possibly play around with, which gives him a great template to work with already, let's see if Henry triumphs or fails with his first directed episode. This episode covers the entirety of chapter 1039, and aside from extending the Momonosuke scenes much to my dismay, and some extra bits of action here and there, the episode really does follow the manga chapter's chain of events rather closely, which works for something that escalates in such a big way like this fight, with the added content only really adding to the chaos of it all, I feel. But that's both a good thing and a bad thing here. Most of the A part of the episode meanders around a lot because of this, with the start of the episode beginning with a cool idea with the Harmony cells of Kid's past that change from being a cool novelty and turn into padding, and stuff like the really uninteresting Momonosuke filler that I honestly would have rather replaced with more Yamato and Kazenbo stuff. Because it not only keeps stalling like the plot point has for ages, but for pacing reasons it includes a rather lengthy flashback to the moments where the Scabbards excelled in the raid, which motivates Momo more, but it's just overall stalling and leaves me feeling almost nothing at this point. It's obviously really difficult to create filler, I know, and that largely can also come down to the series directors and series composer. But it makes the episode uneventful till it reaches the Big Mom title bout, which is done justice as far as hard-hitting action laced with mostly fitting OST is concerned, which is what matters most, though I personally have some gripes with how many times Law is portrayed as a snarky bastard here, making faces that just do not fit his character despite the banter with Kid. It all just leaves the episode feeling a bit uneven when it comes to its two halves, and the storyboard only slightly mitigates that. Henry certainly has an array of ideas that portray the fight between such titans in neat and interesting ways, with the various instances of color on display, shots here and there that use the battlefield to its advantage, and its own fair share of genuinely well-composed shots, but I feel like they don't manage to link together in a cohesive way like some other directors' episodes on the show. Don't get me wrong, I think there's a lot of really great ideas in isolation here that make for some pretty shots all in all, but the flow of it all is kinda neutered when the scale feels almost non-existent in the very next shot, as it most of the time cuts to some bystander reactions, wide shots that should feel bigger, or really slow shots of debris that can go a long way in killing the impact that the action set up previously. And there were a handful of times too where I almost wished that the camera would back up a bit, because it just sometimes gets too close for the scale to properly settle in. I know the reactions and wide shot problem is really more a series-wide issue sometimes, but for something with such high production values otherwise, the shots just don't really connect in a believable way that keeps the ball rolling. So while I can absolutely commend the creativity despite how bloated it can get when some color work definitely goes a bit too far, but the flow could have definitely used some more work to make it more enticing, because the general level of animation here is absolutely stellar. Bringing together another really awesome and bang-on lineup of animators from Henry's own contacts, like OKKO creator and One Piece fan Ian Jones-Cordy and Boruto series director Masayuki Koda, who are both without a doubt surprise inclusions that I wasn't expecting, to people like the always amazing Vincent Chensar doing what he does best and heightening Henry's border with his as per usual fantastic usage of background animation that perfectly uses the arena to its advantage. There's really just so much to chew on visually, with even the legs of Juna Rai showing up very briefly, and that helps add pizzazz to the action that had some great ideas to start with, but ideas all the same that certainly needed something more to sell them. It is a really kick-ass collection of ideas that I think on their own manages to really shine a spotlight on what's possible for the animation side of the series, but overall for Henry's debut I found it a little unpolished directorially for how hard it was hyped up, but yet still think it managed to do the content the justice it deserved, and hopefully it's a learning experience for Henry going forward, since he clearly went extremely over the top here, and maybe focusing on cohesion next time would be better. Next week though, we're invited to see how certainly weaker staff manages to follow it up with episode 1067 from Kenichi Takeshita and Kenji Yokoyama. While the preview is hiding the obviously most interesting part of the episode, and on the whole it doesn't look like it has high production values compared to this week, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle such a huge moment for the climax of this arc, and for the characters that are involved in this live floor fight as it closes its curtain. Anyways guys, that's it for now. I'm Skippy, and the DBZ eye catch reference was admittedly pretty cool.